Welcome to the Black and Green podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristen H., the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best.
All right, guys. I'm so excited to talk to Christine today. I can't wait to hear how she created her brand and why she created it. What was that driving passion that made her create it? Because starting a business is not easy, but she took a leap of faith. I can't wait to learn more about how she did it. So my first question always is, why did you start your brand? What propelled you to take that hard leap of faith?
Thanks, Kristen. You know, when we've been asked that question at Nuele, it honestly just throws me back to my childhood of sitting in salons and smelling ammonia and, seeing people doing their hair and maybe sometimes not being particularly thrilled with the outcome, especially, I would say, as a Black woman who, I would say has very tight curls. Growing up, there was this look that was expected, that was perceived to be, the beautiful look or the good look. And the cost of that look was often copious amounts of times in the salon and using various types of chemicals to just, straighten our hair. And honestly, from about the age of 8, it just bothered me. And I always wondered, is this the only way to arrive at this thing we call beauty? And so over the years, I and my mom owned a few hairdressing salons, so I was around here a lot.
So got it. So you came from an entrepreneur. Your mom owned a few hair salons. That means it's in your blood. Creating is in your blood.
It is absolutely in my blood. Can't help it. Even when I tried to run away from this idea of entrepreneurship, it would come back and bite me, right? And my mom was also a physician. So I was around health on the one hand, but I'm going to say I was also around unhealthy matters in the salon on the other hand. So it was a very strange juxtaposition. And I then went on and studied chemistry and did a lot of research on cancer. I'm a biochemist, a pharmaceutical chemist, but always struggled with what was used to make hair care products. I just kept coming back to this world of hair. And so what drove not only myself, but my co-founder, Anne, to build this company was a desire to enable people, right, to still attain that look that they aspire for, the beautiful look, but not at the steep price of their health. Because there are many products out there that are made with ingredients that we know are unsafe, such as what we saw not too long ago with benzene, for example, in dry shampoos. So what drove us was to really make products that have great performance, but that are also healthy for the individuals. We just don't believe in compromising, one for the other.
Yeah, I love that question, or I love that statement, because the question I often get is, if I use an all-natural, non-toxic product, am I going to give up it being effective? Is the product not going to work? It's like we think we have to have these toxins for efficiency, for it to be effective. So how did you hold that line, non-toxic, being all natural, and still being effective, still be able to do what you need the product to do?
That's a great question, Kristen. And I mean, what I would say is it's taken a combination I would say, of research and patience and listening to what people are looking for and just continuing to iterate and iterate and iterate our formulations until we get to that point where we see the performance that people are looking for, but still stay true to the integrity of the ingredients that we use. And so, there's that temptation, right, to rush into the market with a product. And I'll give you an example. For the longest time, people have asked, why don't you have a shampoo and conditioner? And we said we're still working on it. It took us 4 years to put together our first product, which was our Nuele hair serum, because we wanted to make sure that it was a product that we could stand by. It's a not only a moisturizer, but it's really designed to be a clean heat protectant for people who say want to blow out their hair or blow dry their hair. They really want to protect their hair. And it took us many years to just research that, and we constantly iterated until we got to that point. And we also we've always said it's important to listen to what people are looking for, and also listen to their feedback and be responsive to it. So as we observed what was in the market and also listened to what people were looking for, which was, how can I get a clean, X, right? How do I get a clean, whether it's a shampoo or a heat protectant or an eyebrow serum? And we just tasked ourselves to work on it. And all of our formulations are in-house. I'm the chief scientist for it. And I'm really excited when we get to that moment when the feedback is, okay, now it has the performance that we desired. Oh yeah, it's a clean product. It's hard to get there, but I don't know. I just always get excited when finally we've nailed it, right? But it takes time. It takes lots of time and research.
That. Yeah. My first question that popped in my head is, how could you afford to make a product for 4 years? The average company could not do that. So tell me a bit about, is your brand, your side hustle? Do you still have a main 9 to 5? So it allows you to have some ease and not rush the process of the business, because the business is not the main way you're bringing in money. So I'm curious, is this a side hustle, and what is the side hustle to?
Okay, wonderful. So certainly, getting this started absolutely was a side hustle. I would say that the first 4 years of that research process was something where both myself and Anne Cheatham, my co-founder, we invested into. We poured our money into it. We even took some of our 401k money and put into it. We, like many entrepreneurs who bootstrap, would look at our bills at the end of the month and say, okay, we're paying our bills, and then all the extra money translates into what we need to do to build this business. Anne is a nurse anesthetist, and I started off, actually, when we started this off, I was a college professor at Villanova University, and I left that and went into consulting, and then in higher education, specifically in STEM, in the science world. And currently, I'm a dean of STEM, but also put a lot of effort into the business. And so both Anne and I, for many, many years, invested in the business and invested in building a portfolio of products that we knew we could stand behind. And I would say that so we started the company in 2015 and officially launched the products, go figure, in 2020, right when pandemic was happening, March of 2020. And so it's been an interesting journey since then. But we self-funded, and then last year did a small family and friends round We have a couple of people who are now full time, but both Anne and I continue to have other roles that we engage in. But that's how we financed it.
Yeah, I like that. That's beautiful. I kind of like what I'm hearing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it wasn't money that you were searching for that made you start your brand. That was something deeper than that, that you were willing to pull from your safety net, pull from your 401k or 501, I'm probably saying those numbers wrong, allowed you to pull from that to invest in something else that you were trying to do. What was, I think that's touching in a way that you were trying to solve this problem and solve this issue, and money or making money was not your key priority.
You know what? You really hit the nail on the head there. It really wasn't. And I would say that if making money was our key priority, we probably would have put product in the market a year in. It
Yep.
probably would not have been the best product. We probably would have compromised at this point on various things, such as certain types of ingredients and things such as that. And what really drives us, right? I'd say at a fundamental level is having healthy options when we're looking at health care. Health is a critical component for us. So, like I mentioned, Anne is a nurse anesthetist. She lives in the world of health. I grew up around a physician and so on. My work, my research was in cancer and what causes cancer and how that can be addressed. So, I would say at a fundamental level, as founders, we've always been anchored on what does it mean to promote the best health that we can, right? And so when we step back and say, what are some of those things that we do in our everyday lives that can come and interfere with our health journey? We realize that a core thing that we do every single day is use hair care products that we don't always know what's in them. And we don't always realize what their impact is. And so, especially as women, and how I would say society has emphasized the importance of certain looks and things like that, we go above and beyond. We spend, as a collective, globally, billions of dollars in the hair industry. Yet, many of the products that we use actually have ingredients that nobody would want to touch. Who would want to touch benzene? Who would want to touch formaldehyde? Who would want to touch, all these things? Yes, we put them in our hair. And so one can say, okay, I'm going to be a vegan. I'm going to exercise X number of times a week. I'm going to make sure I watch everything I eat. But if we don't pay attention to what we're putting on our hair and our skin, it can come and interrupt that journey, right? And so for us, a key driver is how do we ensure that if we're going to play in this space, that we will be on the right side of that story, that we are on the side of positive health outcomes no matter what. And Anne says this all the time. She says, Christine, the last thing I want is for me to be working with a patient and then I see their hair and I ask them, what do you use on your hair? And maybe that patient has cancer and then they say, oh, I use Nuele. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, situation. And so from a very selfish perspective, we don't want to be on the other side of that story, that we are the company that has ingredients that make people sick. No way. We wouldn't continue as a company if that was our key tenet for us. So I know that was a long-winded answer to your question, but yeah.
I loved it. I think that kind of that commitment that we don't want to be a company that contributes to the problem. We want to be a company that's contributing to the solution of ensuring that our customers have access to products that are all natural and can aid in their journey to get healthier. I love it.
Absolutely. And you know what I'll add to that is because of that, we're also very keen on paying attention to what's going on in our environment. And, you know, as part of our sustainability story, it's very important to us that we work closely with the farmers who produce the ingredients that we use. We are part of an initiative where we grow trees in Western Africa as well as now in Eastern Africa. I'm originally from Kenya. And it's exciting that year on year, there are hundreds of thousands of trees that are being planted, and so there's the environmental reclamation component to this initiative. We do not want to be a part of the problem when it comes to environmental degradation. So we want to be a part of a solution there. Can we reclaim our lands? Can we be a positive influencer in matters around climate, right? And then also, we're very mindful about our packaging. We've heard a lot. I mean, at least I think we all should know more about microplastics, right, in our environment. We do not want to be on the problem side of that. We want to be on the solution side. So we are very mindful of our packaging. Our packaging is either glass or aluminum or paper, because the recyclability is critical for the future of the society we live in, and goes into that algorithm of clean beauty. So I just thought I would add to, I think, the very eloquent way in which you summarized why we are.
Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
So wherever you are right now, just take a moment to be. Be in your awareness, be in your truth, be in your wholeness. Allow yourself to show up as light, dark, and every shade of gray in between. Feeling your presence, experiencing your truth. Finding your breath, and instead of directing her, listen to her. Ask her where she wants to spend more time, and spend more time there. Ask her where she's stuck, and go into the experience of why. Be in this breath, be in this movement, and continue to cultivate this experience through the rest of your day. Honoring that your truth and whatever you show up as is always enough. You are perfection and excellence personified. Anything that tells you that you're anything else no longer serves you.
Now that we're back from meditation, my question that's burning is, what is your big vision for your brand? Where do you want to see it go?
I want Nuele to do two things. One, I want it to continue to be a positive disruptor in the hair beauty industry, where we continue to be on the leading edge of products that are ethically designed, that have the performance that people desire, and that are clean. It's important for us as a brand to remain innovative and creative in that sector. The other thing I want, which I would say is the bigger thing, is to be found in everybody's home. I want everyone using Nuele, because I know that Nuele is a product that positively benefits everybody. Many times we've been asked the question, why are your products agnostic of hair type? And we always say that if we're going to approach this table from an equity perspective, certainly mindful that every hair type has its nuances. It's critical that at the beginning, when we are coming out of the gate, that we are serving that core issue around clean beauty. that anybody who wants an option with clean products can get it regardless of their hair type. In the future, we will start to segment more. So I see Nuele being a brand that is in everybody's bathroom, in everybody's purse, in those hotel rooms where there's shampoos and conditioners, where we can have clean options for everyone. That's the bigger vision. I see it profusing this whole globe. And you know what? We're already on that journey. We're already in Europe, we're in Australia, we're in Asia, we're entering Africa, and it's happening, and I'm thrilled about it.
Tell me more about this product that took you 4 years to develop. Describe it to me. Help me understand it. How can my customers use it? Like, talk more about the product itself.
So let me talk about the Nuele hair serum moisturizer and heat protectant. The genesis of that product was really, I would say, personal, not directly to me, but to Anne Cheatham, my co-founder. She used to use a lot of keratin in her hair so that she could have this straight look. And it was a beautiful look. Her concern was that by the time she was done with that, knowing that, again, she's in the health sector, she knew she had been exposed to multiple chemicals that she, would have known better than to expose herself to. And the other thing that she felt she was not getting by doing the keratin treatments at the time was versatility, because she naturally has curly hair. So what would happen is once she had that treatment done, she had to stay with that look until the keratin had until the timeline had passed, and then she could then go on and have this curly look. So she challenged me one day, and she said, "Come on, Christine, you're a pharmaceutical chemist. You want to tell me you can't make something that I can use in my hair and have that straight look, something clean and healthy that I can put in my hair after I wash my hair and have that straight look if I blow dry or flat iron? And then the next day, if I want to have curly hair, I can do that without being tied to a certain look. Christian, can you do that for me?" So that's where that question came, right? And it started this journey. It started this journey of how do we make something that is clean, that can be a heat protectant, that can allow versatility and also manageability, right? And that was a tall order. And so it took me 4 years, kid you not. It took me 4 years to work on that. And it wasn't just her who we were, so we had multiple people test this, people with different hair types, and they would come back and say, well, I felt this is what it looked like. And I said, what can we do to also make it easy to use? So to answer your question, wake up in the morning, we can wash our hair. One of the things that we do as a company is we do not believe in dilution of products just to bulk our product. So our products are concentrated. So for a person who might have, let's say, the hair is 5 inches long, they can wash their hair, take about 3 or 4 drops of Nuele, put it on their hair, and then blow it out. It's as simple as that. It protects the hair, it moisturizes the hair, and the hair shaft actually continues to maintain its health. Another way in which the Nuele hair serum is used is people can just put it on their scalp. Not everybody likes to put heat in their hair. So you can just put it on your scalp and then comb it right out. Or you can put it straight onto the hair and just massage it in and style the hair. So it allows for a lot of versatility. And people who use Nuele continue to come back and say that it has really reduced the amount of time that they have to take to either blow out their hair or flat iron their hair, but they also have this look that they love, that scrumptious look that we're looking for, as Anne would say, that beauteous look, right? Something that makes someone feel, wow, I'm happy to walk out of the house today, right? So again, whether one flat irons their hair or they just put it into their hair to help with moisturization. And so I would tell anyone who wanted to use Nuele that it's a serum that one lasts a long time because, like I said, it's concentrated, so you don't want to overdo it. And we love the idea that someone can have a little bottle of serum, maybe 2 ounces, and that it can take them for almost 2-3 months with them using it. I mean, of course, depending on how long the hair is, using it almost every day and maintain that richness of their hair. So, again, somewhat broad way of describing how it works and how it came about, but it really just started with a challenge, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for challenges. So when she challenged me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do this. So yeah.
I loved it. I love it. Kind of was developed from a challenge. That's kind of like your niche. We found this problem that we were trying to find a solution to. We wanted to find a natural replacement to kind of help heat protect our hair and allow us to straighten it out without damaging our hair.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that, I will tell you, that is the unicorn. One of the unicorns for our company is that's a product that continues to win, awards. It's a product that continues to. It's really an anchor product for us. Has done very well in the market, and again, it's not everyone who puts heat on their hair. It solves multiple problems. I consider it a very nutritious solution to the idea of moisturization because the product has vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, a lot of ingredients that are very beneficial to hair outside of just protecting it from heat. It's also very good in the summer. If someone's going to be out exposed and in the sun and so on, it's always beneficial to have some barrier, right, between your hair and the universe around you. So a lot of people will use it when they're going out in the sun in the winter. Also really good for swimmers. People put it on their hair before they go in for a swim just to protect their hair. So there's lots of versatility to it. And it ended up being a pretty nifty product. And it took us a while. After I finished designing it, we were like, oh boy, now what do we call this? Because it was doing a lot of different things. But its core role, I would say, is moisturization and heat protection.
I love that's an interesting challenge. When your product does so many things, you're trying to figure out how to brand it and what to call it because it does a lot. I think that's.
And I'll tell you, that was such a challenge with our marketing team because our marketing team is like, so now what do I call it? So that was it. It took us a while. It took us. I would say half of 2019 to really identify the best way to position it, because previously we had positioned it as a natural serum, but that was not enough, right? So we really have to come at it from the perspective of a clean heat protectant that moisturizes. So that's really what Nuele hair serum is.
What I love is that it embodies patience and taking your time and not rushing. I think that the process we went through was we took our time to develop something perfect, took our time to name it. And we often don't see very much of that in this world, people taking their time. So I'm having a lot of, I want to know kind of what gave you this faith to take your time and not rush in a world that's trying to rush everything.
That's an interesting question. I think that's the first time I've ever been asked that. I think that going through, during the time when I was doing my doctorate, I think that was a very humbling experience. And it forces one to learn how to be patient in arriving at a solution. And doing research and continuously trying to arrive at a given solution or uh, identify that, okay, this doesn't work, my hypothesis doesn't work, that takes time. And that's kind of like the first thing that comes to my mind as I reflect on the question you've just asked. I think that muscle of patience that comes from doing research and iterating and reiterating until one arrives at a point where they feel satisfied, right, with that product. It takes time. And I think that
Yes.
whenever you're innovating, innovation always takes time. I think that society sometimes looks at the finished product, but doesn't always realize how long it takes to get to that point. Certainly in the beauty sector, one can rush to make certain products. Like I mentioned earlier, we've been asked to do shampoo and conditioner for a long time. And we're like, no, we are going to wait until and keep working on this until we get to a point where we know that we have a product that will serve the very purpose, but that can still allow us to, what I always say, sleep well at night, right? And so I would say that academic process has had an impact. I also want to say that for both Anne and I, as co founders, we have had very supportive families, and I don't want to dismiss the role that they've played in creating a space for us to engage in this, right? So my husband, his name is Charles, has just been such a champion. And I would say my kids as well have been amazing champions. And for Anne and her family, they've, it's the same thing. We have both been surrounded by not only family but also friends who have continued to say it's important that we get to the best product we can make. Our advisory team, same thing. Our marketing group, same thing. So I think we're in accord, that's the word I want to use. We are in one accord around the importance of developing products that we all can be proud of. And if it takes a while, so be it. We have to invest that.
I love that. I love that you made a commitment to invest in creating products that are going to benefit all of our health. And you did not rush that process. I also love how you connected it to the researcher's mind. The researcher is looking and searching and knows that they cannot rush. I love that you introduced that in a space that's often overclouded by money and doing everything's quick to make the money. Like, no, we're going to take our time. We're going to slowly research and we're going to find the product, the ingredients that work the best to help us reach our goal. I love that.
Absolutely. And we think
Thank you
we
so
owe
much.
that. We owe that to our customers. I really believe we do. We do. I would want that. I would want to know that someone was mindful of not my current, my future when they're putting things like these together. We want to know that the next generation and the generation after that is going to positively benefit from this, right? Rather than rush to serve a given purpose now, but that future generations might actually suffer. When we hear about women getting, cancers because of products that they've used, that's a serious legacy issue, right? And so I want, and our company wants, that future generations will be able to say that, this is a product that we've used. My mother used it, my grandma used it, my dad used it, my great uncle used it. And it was good for them. And it gave them the value that they were seeking. And we did not compromise on our health. We owe it. We owe it to our community.
I know I want to purchase products from founders that care about their customers as much as you do. So thank you for creating products with as much intention and focus and care and love that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at blkgrn.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy Black and live green.